What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one we're going over the pre-game preview for the Cardinals game this upcoming Sunday with them coming to Indy. Marvin Harrison Jr. coming to Indy for the first time as a pro. So should be an exciting game. Looks like, for all indications, that Kyler Murray, he's back at practice on Friday, which was honestly, I feel like, to be expected. Feels like he's probably going to be able to go, so that's not going to be a problem for them. I know they have ruled out Darius Robinson. We have ruled out both Tyler Goodson and Kenny Moore. Neither of those are surprises. Alec Pierce is practicing on Friday. Alec Pierce has been cleared from the concussion protocol, and he is good to go. So on the Colts side, Tyquan Lewis is good. Alec Pierce is good. Braden Smith, who's actually only on here for a rest day, he's good to go. Grover Stewart with the bicep injury and rest, he is good to go. And again, on the Cardinals side, the only person ruled out as of the moment I'm recording this is Darius Robinson, their starting right edge, which definitely will help us. I know Kelvin Beachum was a full participant. Actually, he's only on here for rest, so he's good to go. Don't even worry about that. Then a lot of limited participants on Thursday. Haven't really seen anything about all the other guys. Nobody else currently is ruled out for the Cardinals. They said we'll see how it goes with Kyler, but he's going to end up playing. Just got to expect that. And then there are other big injuries on here to watch for. There's Will Johnson with the groin injury, limited 2 days in practice. They also have another corner, their other starting corner, Max Melton with a hamstring injury. He's been limited 2 days. So it looks like they're just taking it easy with their guys. I'm just going to assume that these guys are playing, right? And if they don't play, that's a huge lift for the Colts, of course, but I'm just going to assume those guys are playing. So as we go into this one, both teams relatively healthy for the most part. Obviously, the starting edge guy being out is definitely going to help us for sure. It's going to help out Bernie for sure, that right edge guy. And so coming into this one, pretty clean on both sides for the most part. And the Cardinals, see, this will be an interesting game because for everything that's been said about the Cardinals, what I didn't know that I learned recently was that the Colts have the fifth best points per game on defense. Cardinals are the sixth best points per game on defense. They give up, I think it's 19.7 points per game on defense, something like that. So for all intents and purposes, they have a good defense. Will Johnson's been really good as a rookie, which I feel like was to be expected. Now, I'm a Michigan fan, so of course I expected that. Watched plenty of them, know the name. Will Johnson's a very good corner. Max Melton on the other side. Obviously, they have Budda Baker on that defense. Budda Baker's been one of the best safeties in the NFL for a long time. So coming up against this defense, it's not going to be an easy task. They have Calais Campbell in the middle of that defensive line. That's not going to be an easy task for as good as we've been up front and for as good as our second-year guys have been. Plus, you have obviously Quentin Nelson, future Hall of Famer. Like, for as good as those guys are, they're going to have their hands full with the interior of that defensive line for the Cardinals. So, for all intents and purposes, not going to come into this and say we should dominate and say that this is going to be, a blowover game just like the Raiders. Like what happened with the Raiders was kind of to be expected. Against the Cardinals, this one's definitely going to present its challenges, right? Offensively, you just have to keep doing what you're doing. Getting Alec Pierce back is a big deal. Getting Alec Pierce back is going to spread things out. The defense can't just ignore that. And this is one where with Will Johnson being on the other side and being, primarily, I would assume, going to be on Pitt with the way we do different alignments, he's going to be on Pitt a lot. Now, we went after Pat Surtain quite a bit. I think we threw at Pat Surtain 9 or 10 times in the Broncos game, so it's not like we're going to be scared to throw his way, but Will Johnson, very good. So you would assume, just like the Broncos game, this is going to be one where we try to find Pierce some more, where we're trying to find, if Dooling gets in the game, if, Josh Downs, especially coming off the game Josh Downs just had, I expect him to be able to get some targets and move the chains. Tyler Warren, of course. So, this is one of those, the other guys' games, right? When you talk about Pitt being our number one and having to look elsewhere, at some point trying to find Alec Pierce down the field is what I would assume. So, coming into this, just got to continue doing what you're doing offensively. I don't think there's really a whole lot to talk about there. The offense has operated really well all season long. Doesn't matter the opponent. Obviously against the Rams, at different spurts having different troubles moving the ball, but that's a good defense, right? Good defensive front, right? But we were still able to put up 20 points. Should have been 34, of course, but still able to get up to 20 points. And so this is a game that coming in offensively, just keep doing what you're doing. The game plan every game has been the same, where we're throwing in the first half and getting Daniel Jones in the passing game involved, trying to soften up the defense while giving Jonathan Taylor some run, and then going into the second half, and really that's where Jonathan Taylor starts to get going and where the offensive line starts to impose their will on the defensive line. And that's what you're going to have to do, especially against a guy like Calais Campbell, somebody who's so physically imposing, right? 6'8", 300, whatever he is, absolutely monster human being, and he's still effective. He's having a good season, and he's like 38 years old, I think. So at some point, you're going to have to continue to soften up that defense, get them tired, but I would expect we're at a point. I just expect the offense to operate how the offense has operated. The offensive line has been really good. Right, they've seen so much in terms of blitzes. They've seen so much this year, and Daniel Jones has done a good job under pressure. He's done a good job being able to roll away from the rush that's coming. He's only been sacked 4 times, which is the least in the league. So overall, between offensive line and quarterback, doing a really good job in the pass game, and of course in the run game. Of course, Jonathan Taylor's 53, 58-yard rush gets taken off the board, but the Rams haven't let up a 20-yard rush all season except for that one, right? And it got taken off the board, so it doesn't count officially. But like when it comes to us being able to impose our will and being able to do what we want to do on offense, we're generally able to do that. Now, again, against the Cardinals, this could be difficult, right? But we did put up 29 points against the Broncos, who have one of the best defenses in the league as well. So I again, just kind of expect the offense to be able to do their thing. Now, of course, on the defensive side, even with Kyler Murray having the foot injury and whatever challenges that might present for Kyler Murray in that offense, he's still dangerous, right? He's still going to be dangerous. This is a guy you can't come into this and expect him or think that he's going to be limited in any capacity. As a fan, I'm not going to sit here and try to say, oh, well, Kyler Murray isn't going to be able to move as well. Kyler Murray is incredibly shifty. Him being smaller definitely helps him in a lot of ways, right? Being able to duck, get away from guys. Like, we have a very big team, so being able to get away from these guys, Kyler Murray, has that to his advantage for sure, right? And Kyler Murray, I'm not huge on, Kyler Murray being a game-breaking quarterback in terms of passing the ball, but it is something that he can do. He can put the ball into different spots. So coming into this, we have Charvarius Ward, who for all intents and purposes should be on Marvin Harrison Jr. a lot. I know they're probably going to do a lot of things where they try to get Marvin Harrison Jr. away from Charvarius Ward so that they can get him the ball some more, but as much as we possibly can, I want to see Charvarius Ward on Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's just going to be the best thing for the defense. And then obviously, coming into it, James Conner isn't available because he's on the season-ending IR. So we're going to need, Jermaine Pratt, who's just got here, but very familiar with Lou Anarumo's defense and what Lou wants to do, right? Coming in, having Zaire Franklin, our linebacker core all of a sudden got better. So stopping the run should be easier. I did pick up Michael Carter last week in one of my fantasy leagues. Would like him to do something right? At some point, maybe in the fourth quarter when we're already, have a safe lead, he gets in the end zone, whatever the case may be. But nonetheless, the way we're operating on defense, like the yards per carry isn't incredible game to game, and I'm not going to sit here and act like it is. Obviously, we need to be able to stop the run, but going up against this offensive line, I just feel like we should be able to get after Kyler Murray. We should be better against the run in this game than we have been in the recent past. I think there are going to be opportunities for this defensive line to be able to impose their will at different points in this game and to really be able to affect this game. Right. And then in the secondary, like just continuing to see the development of Mekhi Blackman, a guy, young guy who didn't get a whole lot of run with the Vikings, obviously missed last year due to an injury. Coming into it this year in a new scheme and being asked to do a lot, right? Playing man, right? We played, obviously, as the game went on against the Raiders, we ended up playing more zone because we had a comfortable lead. So we were just sitting back in zone, keeping everything in front of us. But like when the game is close and the game is in reach, playing more man, we're asking more of Mekhi Blackman, right, being able to play man. But you want to do that because if you're playing man, you have Charvarius Ward being able to play man. He's been incredible this year. So what the secondary is going to be asked to do and what I think we're going to be able to do against Cardinals, like I just think offensively, I think we win the matchup. Defensively, I think we win the matchup. And, of course, right, of all the teams, and this is a conversation I've seen going around on Twitter's, like, is there any team that is truly great in the NFL? Like, week to week, is there any team that just hasn't had a game where they haven't looked bad? And I think even for all the mistakes the Colts made against the Rams, like a lot of people understand the Colts probably should have won that game if not for their own mistakes. But they still didn't. We didn't look terrible in that game. Like pretty much every team, even the Lions, who have dominated since week one, in week one, they just didn't look like the Lions. They didn't look like themselves. Like week to week, I feel like in a crazy turn of events, the Colts are maybe the most consistent team in the league. So coming into this, just continuing that consistency is going to be the most important thing. Being able to make sure Kyler Murray doesn't end up with 60, 70, 80 rushing yards where he's running all over the field, right? That's the danger of playing man, is that if you're playing man and they have different routes that are running away, and then you get guys not looking at Kyler Murray, right? Like, are we going to have a spy on Kyler Murray, somebody to try to keep him from running all over the field when we're in man coverage? That's going to be, one of those, chess, not checkers moves, right? How are you going to play against this offense with the defense? And I think that's going to be maybe the biggest X factor in this game is making sure Kyler Murray can't just run all over the place, making sure he's not just comfortable. You have to contain him with the edges. You have to be able to push the pocket, right? He's a smaller guy. If you can push the pocket on him and he has to get the ball over, then that could lead to some overthrows, which, as we saw in the first 2 weeks, could lead to interceptions, right? Get your hands up, right? Because Kyler Murray's just a little bit shorter. That ball's coming out a little bit lower. So continue to get your hands up, tip balls, whatever it may be. And so, again, chess, not checkers here for the defense. And being able to make sure Kyler Murray isn't just going off on us all day long. He's going to try to roll the pocket and he's going to be able to get out at different times. So it's really important for us to be able to stop him from getting out all the time. Like you can't have him rolling out and having free passes all day long, right? You give a quarterback if a quarterback's rolling out, right, you're thinking it takes about 2.5 seconds. He's rolling out and he buys himself another, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. And by that time, the secondary is in such a bad position because now you have the receivers that are just they're off their routes. They're just running around trying to get away from guys. And a lot of times that ends up working just the way it is. So coming into this, just got to make sure defensively we don't let Kyler break the game open on us. But I think we've done a really good job offensively and defensively. In terms of EPA per play, we're top 5 on defense, top 2 on offense. Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold are the best 2 in terms of EPA per play. I think we're getting 3. I believe the number. I think I have it saved here. I do have it saved here. So most offensive points per drive entering NFL Week 6. Colts are at 3.39. The Bills are next up, tied with the Lions actually at 2.89 points per drive. So we lead the league in points per drive. Just got to continue that. Obviously, Michael Badgley stepping in for Spencer Schrader could end up being a big deal, right? The way these games have gone, it's not going to be realistic that we're blowing teams out every week. This is the NFL. Most of these games come down to one-score games, right? Any given Sunday is a thing for a reason. So we got to come into this prepared for a dogfight against the Cardinals team that has lost 3 really tough games. Especially the one that they're coming off of with the mistakes that they made. They're going to be coming into this looking to right all the wrongs that happened in the last game. And we'll see if they're able to do that. But the Colts have played their best football in Lucas Oil Stadium. And this is another home game. So at the end of the day, I do expect us to be able to win this game. Again, with the Cardinals' defense being what it is, maybe it's not, the offensive explosion that we're used to. But again, even against the Rams, we should have scored 34 points. So at the end of the day, I think my score prediction for this game is going to end up being, I'd say, go ahead, give me 30 for the Colts. And I'm going to say 20 for the Cardinals. 30-20 sounds like a pretty good score to me. I think, with Kyler Murray and the weapons they have on offense, I do think at some point they'll be able to put points up. Some of that coming in the fourth quarter, in my opinion, when we have a lead kind of secured up. But 30-20 is going to be my score prediction for this game. Of course, I'd love to know what you guys think. What is your prediction for this game coming in? How do you think it's going to go? You let me know down in the comment section. Would love to hear from you guys. And of course, if you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe with notifications on so you get notified anytime we drop any content on this channel. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for a video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.